Wings.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the ESL Hearthstone Legendary Series. I love those commercials by Plantronics. They really brighten up my day. You know what else brightens up my day?
The finals?
The Legendary Series Week 3 Finals. It's going to be really exciting between Savjz and Kabi. So we talked about it a little bit before the break, but why don't you tell me a little bit about these players before we have to go through all the mundane intro stuff.
Well, Savjz. Who can forget about Savjz when listing the best players in the world? Certainly among the most accomplished players in the world. He won the very first OGN tournament back in Korea. He won Sea Story Cup #2. He won one of the first French tournaments, which was a Swiss tournament. He won EU versus CN #1 over Life Coach, in fact. He won so many tournaments after that. He won yet another an Invent tournament, the Invent Invitational. And I could just keep listing these tournaments on and on, right?
Because it's your job. Indeed. And of course, Kabi made it all the way through the open bracket, has had a dominating performance so far. He's been trying to make a name for himself. But now that we've successfully hyped up the match, we need to talk to you guys a little bit about the Legendary Series, the format, and how all of this actually works. So we've been over this a whole bunch of times today, so I'll try and make it quick so we can get to those finals. We have a Challenger Cup followed by a Legendary Series week in that 2-week span. There's the top 6 players from each Challenger Cup join 2 invited players. Those 8 players duke it out in each Legendary Series week, and the winner moves on to the Legendary Series Land Final. So far, we've seen Life Coach and Kalento to be the 2 players qualified, and today we'll see whether or not it's Kabi or Savjz who joins them. Those 4 players will be joined by 4 players from the Redemption Tournament and 8 players from the Last Chance Open. There are some restrictions for the Last Chance Open, so Monk, why don't you go over those restrictions?
Yeah, if you are North American, you can play in these tournaments because the problem is if the LAN tournament will actually be the following week. So unfortunately for European, Asian, and any other players outside of North America, you can't actually play in that tournament, but you can play in the tournament, the last Challenger tournament, in order to get in the week 4 of the Legendary Series on May 2nd and May 3rd.
Yeah, so that will be the last chance for those players in Europe or Asia or anywhere other than North America to compete in the Legendary Series Land Final. So head over to legendaryseries.com. You can see the link below there. Get some more information. It is first come, first serve. There are a limited number of spots, so sign up while you still can. Have your chance to be a part of that Land Final and that $25,000 prize pool. And speaking of $25,000 prize pool, we also want to give a huge shout-out to our sponsors for the Legendary Series Season 2, Plantronics and Gigabyte, who not only make all this possible, but they also supply us with some fantastic commercials to show off some of their products. So if you like the commercials, if you like what we do here at the Legendary Series, make sure you head to those links that you just saw below and pick up some gear, support us, and support Hearthstone esports in general if you'd like to see some crazy action.
Well, speaking of links and speaking about talking about esports, how can you communicate to us about this show? You can join in on the conversation by tweeting at us at ESL Hearthstone or using the hashtag HLS. Both excellent ways to communicate with us.
Indeed. And after the broadcast, we will be reading through some of those tweets and joining in on some of those conversations ourselves. So keep those tweets coming. And we also are giving away packs, Monk.
Yay, packs!
Yeah! You know what's more hyped than the Legendary Series Week 3 Finals?
The Legendary Series Week Finals with a raffle for packs.
With a raffle for packs. Head over to esl.gg/legendary week 3 and enter the raffle. You follow the instructions on your screen. You'll be entered to win some free packs that you can open later while you're just so happy that you got to watch Savjz versus Kabi in the Legendary Series Finals. But we should take a look at how these players got here. Why don't we bring up the group bracket so we can show you just all these players' performances throughout the weekend. And in Group A, we'll get that bracket up there eventually. I don't even remember.
Well,
there you go.
Well, yeah, let's watch this bracket, actually. This is the more important graphic of the day. Let's recap what happened today. In fact, we had Chalky versus Lead Paint, which was our first match. Chalky made it through. And then 2 Wet versus Kabi. Kabi also made it through there. So Kabi is one of the players who came from actually the round of 6. He didn't go perfect in the first group, and that was actually because Savjz defeated him in Group A. Of course, Chalky, very unfortunately, he was unable to overcome Savjz going out 3-0. Kabi was also able to go 3-0. So both players from the semifinals, very dominant performances there.
Yeah, so you can't really say one player has more momentum. Maybe that Kabi has won 2 matches today to Savjz's 1.
Well, you could say that Savjz is undefeated throughout the tournament so far, right? And he's also defeated Kabi.
Undefeated in matches.
Yeah, undefeated in matches.
The one thing to notice here is Savjz is actually the first player who automatically qualified to the semifinals in a Legendary Series week. So week 1 and 2, the player that automatically qualified for the semifinals lost. So he's the only player to actually make it to the finals with a 3-0 score. Everybody else had a 4-1 score because they had to play an additional match. So, I mean, that could be enough momentum for him to sort of have a lot of confidence going into this last match.
Yeah, certainly. And we see the first match is actually going to be Mech Mage versus Kabi's Ramp Druid. Now, if this were more of a mid-range Druid, Kabi would be in way more of a deficit, but because it is Ramp Druid, it will have way more of a chance. It's actually, Savjz's lineup is all pretty much aggro decks. Very atypical of Savjz. Savjz is actually way more of a control player than an aggro player.
Yeah.
And in fact, I would say he's probably the player least likely to run an all aggro lineup, but he's certainly doing it here, and it really makes sense in the Conquest lineup. That being said, Kabi, his choice to bring Ramp Druid here instead of mid-range Druid, or rather Wall Druid instead of mid-range Druid, is pretty much going to be perfect against Savjz's lineup.
Yeah, that's very true. Very, very true. And it's going to be really interesting to see how this is going to play out. It seems like we've been praising Kabi's deck lineup the most out of any other player this week, just because it's just such a great meta call to bring mid-range Hunter, Ramp Druid, and Warrior. It not only does it counter Freeze Mage, which has been a popular mage, but it also seems to be doing well against players with Warlock lineups.
Yeah, both players are getting pretty good hands right now. Cogmaster, exactly what you want to start off with. And Mirror Entity is actually, typically, it's a card that you want out of the Mad Scientist, but against Druid, I feel like you can even keep it in your opening hand because Druid, it doesn't have any minions that can really run into the Mirror Entity. All its minions are so much value.
Yeah, this is might be a little bit rough, though, because seeing a Zombie Chow on turn 1 makes it so that he's going to have to coin out an Anoyatron or a Snow Choker here.
Or even a Frostbolt here. Maybe the Zombie Chow is just that threatening.
Yeah.
And in response, Kabi will just be able to wall growth here. Pretty much the exact opening that he wants. This is actually exactly the 3 cards that he wants. Zombie Chow, wall growth, Senjin Shieldmaster. And it might just go all downhill for Savjz from there.
Yeah. Especially since Ancient War. Ancient War is so tough for Mech Mage to be able to get through because they have to use their precious burn and trade creatures into it just to be able to clear it off the board.
Yeah, I have to say, this is looking just... Oh, man!
Oh, wow!
Even
that's
Kazan
gross.
Mystic.
That is gross.
So, fortunately, I have to call it here. I think Kabi has this game.
It's called a day. Back it up, boys.
Yeah, this curve is just too good. Kazan Mystic into Sylvanas into Ancient of War, and I think Savjz will just... He'll be shut out here.
Yeah, and Savjz is probably going to be pretty upset after seeing this Kazan Mystic come down. I mean, yeah, he's going to be able to throw like a Cogmaster into it, but...
The light does not discriminate.
That's a lot of sort of tempo lost. Especially since Mirror Entity is so good against heavy Ramp Druid, because a lot of times the Zombie Chow is the only thing that they can throw into it that is like a small creature.
Yeah. We also want to thank production for showing us the secret that was stolen.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah. We already knew that, man.
All your efforts are appreciated.
Yeah.
Now, Savjz, from his perspective, he's like, okay, at least I had an answer for the Mirror Entity, and at least my opponent doesn't play mechs outside of Dr. Boom.
Yeah.
So, and from his perspective, it's still all right, I guess. Oh, that's interesting.
Huh.
Oh. But as we can see, like with Sylvanas and with either a Dr. Boom or Ancient of Lore follow-up, I think it's just going to be over here.
Yeah, Savjz does top out here really nicely. He's got Dr. Boom, but since he went second and Kabi had the wild growth, it feels like he's effectively getting his threats out 2 turns sooner than Savjz would be able to. Which is a big deal.
Yeah, right here, Kabi even has his choice of what he wants to play. I mean, there are no bad plays at
He
this
can
tournament.
even swipe and just completely clear the board and preserve both of his creatures.
Yeah, as long as you have stuff on the board, as long as you play stuff from your hand, I think you're going to be okay.
And as long as his Cogmaster isn't removed, he's going to be able to benefit from it from Dr. Boom.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, Savjz also, he has no options, nothing to play. Oh, well, Lotheb is good, but I don't think it's going to be enough.
Wow.
Savjz just snap plays it because he has really nothing else, no other options. And Kabi, he's pretty much like, oh no, I can't play my Wrath this turn.
Yeah.
What can I do? Oh, Dr. Boom, I forgot.
Yeah.
That's a good draw, but not enough still.
Yeah, there's a chance that both of these creatures might die from being played. Okay, never mind. Oh, that's a fortunate bomb hit, actually.
No, even Ragnaros.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, you can just Wrath here. Play
Wrath.
Sylvanas.
Yeah.
Go for face.
He's got big threat after big threat after big threat. There's just no way that that Savjz is going to be able to get through all this. With Sylvanas on the board, he can't even really play Dr. Boom. But he has to. He can't not play it.
So he can't play it and he can't not play it.
Exactly. And that's
Not
lethal. Yeah, wait. Nope, not
No,
quite.
not quite.
Almost.
Well, there is lethal on board if you play Rag, I guess.
Yeah. But swipe plus hero power is 1 off. It'd be 12 damage on board, plus 5 from the hero power and the swipe to face.
Okay, so
I mean, really, why not? Just a hero power next turn and finishes the game. Unless he gets like an Annoyotron, and in which case it's probably over anyway.
yeah, unfortunately, this is going to be over for Savjz. It's quite unfortunate here.
Yeah.
This is kind of one of the matchups he was maybe hoping to win. But I think he's going to be all right with it going into the future. Oh, just Savjz just playing out his hand. I'll most certainly give up here. What was the point of that
Not
play?
gonna kill it there.
Yeah,
All
Savjz.
Kabi's gonna take game number 1 in this best of 5 finals for the Legendary Series week number 3. 2 wins away from booking himself a ticket to Burbank, California for the Legendary Series Land Finals.
Yeah, how great would that be? I mean, a lot of the players in our Legendary Series, they actually have never been outside of America before.
Yeah.
Right? So it might just be Kabi's first chance to get inside, or rather, get outside of their original countries for. So this might be Kabi's first chance to get out of Argentina.
Yeah, it's very true. And what better place to come to than sunny Southern California? Yeah. It gets a little bit hot in June, but it's a super nice place to come visit, and especially when it's free. I would go anywhere if it meant it was it was free. But we do have quite a bit more action, and of course, Kabi needs to still win with the Warrior, as well as his
mid-range Hunter.
Mid-range Hunter. Of course, Savjz still needs to find a win with all 3 of his decks. It's getting late over in Finland.
The land of the Finns.
The land of the Finns.
Of which Savjz is.
Yes. And I don't know if fatigue's starting to set in. Argentina actually closely lines up with the time zone. Well, I'm not sure exactly, but
I think it's still early enough. I mean, in the first season of the Legendary Series, Savjz had to play until like 7 a.m., 8 a.m.
Oh,
his
yeah.
time.
It was pretty crazy. And he actually won.
Yeah, he actually won. But in the last few games, he was looking so tired. And you can really see the fatigue on his face.
Yeah.
Right now, I think it's still just like somewhat of a late night for Savjz. So he's like, okay, I'll just like play these games and then just maybe go to sleep after. I don't think it's a big deal.
Yeah. But, I mean, with such a Hearthstone is such a mental game. Well, it relies on mental fortitude more than anything. Being able to make sure you can stay focused for an entire match, make sure all your plays are the right plays. So we'll have to see if that's going to take into effect. I think we have the second match coming up here pretty shortly. But judging by the rest of these guys' lineups, do you think it'll be tough for Savjz to take 3 wins over the rest of this lineup for Kabi here?
Yeah, I think Savjz, he'll really be looking to target the Control Warrior from Kabi. I think what he's actually trying to target Druids, or rather mid-range Druids with this lineup, and also Control Warriors. If a Control Warrior, even if they draw like Fire Warrocks in their opening hand against this Paladin, for instance, they can still have trouble dealing with a lot of the board. Control Warrior does have a lot of problems dealing with just mass amounts of minions, especially the greedy ones, which aren't running like Whirlwind, for example, or Unstable Ghoul.
Especially Divine Shields. Warriors have a lot of trouble dealing with Divine Shields because their weapons just don't deal with it by themselves. Especially like a buffed up Annoyatron is the most annoying thing, I guess, name fitting, for Warriors to deal with.
But oh man, that opening hand is actually looking really good here. Armor Smith and
yeah.
Acolyte of Pain.
Yeah.
Oftentimes in this matchup, actually, the Armor Smiths are more valuable than the Fiery War Axe.
Yeah.
Although the rest of the hand isn't too great here. And the problem with a clunky hand for Warrior is that if you can't play out your hand, then Divine Favor will get too much value. And not only that, Jeeves will get a lot of value as well.
The light protects.
It's sort of a funny story. This might sound a little weird coming out at first, but my mom gets really annoyed at Savjz.
Your mom.
My mom, yeah. My mom actually watches the Legendary Series all the time. She doesn't know anything about Hearthstone. She doesn't really follow the matches, but she likes the sort of cool production value that goes on with esports. And she watched the Legendary Series Land Finals, and she saw players like Savjz. She saw Raynad Cassie with me, and she said she was really annoyed with Raynad and Savjz because they always look so upset. So she gave them nicknames.
Okay, what are those nicknames?
Raynad, the first time, she told this story in the Legendary Series Finals. The first time that she saw Raynad, she didn't know his name. She doesn't know anything about Hearthstone, so she doesn't know the most famous player. So she called him Little Sad Boy. Because his posture isn't the greatest, so he was kind of sulking down, and he looked kind of sad when he was casting.
Well, now I have to know, what is
She actually called
what is Savjz's nickname?
Macaulay Culkin.
Oh man. Oh
Yeah.
man. He's gonna love that one.
Yeah.
Especially with the great reputation that Macaulay Culkin has.
Savjz is going to be super pissed at my mom. But
he's going to be perhaps even more pissed that that this Hobgoblin will die.
Yeah.
Job's done.
And now this is actually looking really bad for Savjz until he can draw into his Divine Favor. I mean, this board is these Armor Smiths are just doing way too much work at this point.
Yeah. And he hasn't drawn into some of the key cards that a lot of players say is one of the downfalls of this Paladin deck is if it doesn't draw into Jeeves or Divine Favor before it gets way too far behind in the matchup, in any match, it just can flop. The cards themselves are very, very weak. Each individual card is just not valuable at all. They're valuable in combination with other things, like the one attack creatures are valuable with Hobgoblin. The Divine Shield creatures are valuable with cards like Blessing of Might. And sometimes all the cards become valuable because they essentially are free. If you can empty them from your hand and refill your hand with Divine Favor, that's the ways you win.
Yeah, generally like the 1 mana cards are probably the most value you can get for the mana that you play them, or the 0 mana cards like the Wisp. So
Yeah.
if you're able to get those kind of cards out every single turn, get multiples of those cards, you're probably playing more powerful turns than your opponent is if they just play, let's say, a 5 mana card for 5 mana.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like the theory behind this deck, but unfortunately it's not working out too great for Savjz when he doesn't draw Divine Favor or Jeeves.
So he's just going to try and flood the board here. And we are still a couple turns away from Baron Geddon, but that could be a really important card in this matchup. Savjz, though, really needs to draw into either Jeeves or Divine Favor in the next couple turns, or he's going to be struggling a lot to find a win.
Reporting for duty.
Yeah, I think he's kind of hedging on the fact that he might not draw into those cards in the next few turns.
Saves the owl. He was actually thinking about using the owl there. Maybe just silence the, I don't even know, the Armor Smith? To try and get rid of 1 armor?
Yeah. Just unfortunate for Savjz that Kabi is drawing into all these, all the minions that can really deal with the board here. That being said, there's still like all these creatures that are pretty much useless in Kalbi's hand, so Kabi will have to draw something in the upcoming turns. Though there's just so much armor for Kabi at this point that he has like 2 or 3 turns in order to draw into those cards.
Still above 30 health, effectively.
Yeah. Emperor, Baron Geddon. I think that's a great winning combination.
And if he gets it, he's going to be able to get Ysera down in 2 turns. How do you deal with that if you're Savjz with this aggressive Paladin deck?
I mean, Savjz knew the issues with this deck when he decided to bring it, and he's kind of paying the price for that right now.
Yeah.
The problem is when you don't draw into Divine Favor or Jeeves, like this deck is just horrible.
He's going to need it soon. Can't stress that enough. Next turn, his board is going to get cleared by Baron Geddon.
Yeah, completely cleared.
Oh.
Yeah, I think he does have to owl here because the Emperor effect is just too much.
Yeah.
And here it comes, Baron Geddon.
Might be the nail in the coffin.
Yeah, Savjz knows once that spider is clear that, yeah, Baron Geddon is going to come down. And Savjz might just concede in the following turn if he doesn't get a high value card, which this is not.
Yeah.
Job's done.
Does this even do anything, though? I feel like this is just sending out the Knife Juggler to die. Although I do think that he is playing it now, just so Divine Favor will get more value in the following turns.
Yeah.
But I have to say, like, this Baron Geddon seems to be a lockout card, even.
Yeah.
Like, there's just no way, for Savjz ever to play any minions now for the next few turns.
And he puts him at 6 health, so I don't think there's even anything that he could draw. I wonder what that last card was. Oh, it was Abusive Sergeant. That's not going to help him much. And Kabi takes a quick 2-0 lead in this series.
Yeah, it was just the combination of those Armor Smiths, the Cruel Taskmasters early on, with the fact that Savjz couldn't draw into his Divine Favors and his Jeeves.
Yeah.
Also, like, it was really important for Kabi to have that Shield Slam on that turn when he needed to kill the Hobgoblin. If
Yeah.
the Hobgoblin survived, it could have been also really bad for Kabi. So just a lot of things working out for Kabi, a lot of things maybe not working so well for Savjz in that game.
Yeah, so now the big question here, Monk, is can Savjz take 3 wins against the mid-range hunter from Kabi? He needs to beat mid-range hunter with his Paladin deck, Warlock, and Mage.
It's certainly difficult, but I think with 3 aggro decks, it's also certainly possible. Although I do have to say that in the last time these two faced off, it was the mid-range hunter that immediately got a win.
Yeah.
And it was against Zoo, in fact. And we see just throughout this whole tournament, mid-range hunter has been doing fairly well against Zoo, especially when they start off with a Mad Scientist into the very valuable Explosive Trap.
Yeah. Kabi texting his friends right now. Hey guys, I'm about to beat Savjz.
Yeah, come guys, come watch the stream at ESL Hearthstone, right?
Is that a BlackBerry? He's really living in the past. Wow. Oh, well, 1 more win left for Kabi. Can he do it? 1 win away from qualifying for the Legendary Series Land Finals.
Yeah, he's like, guys, I might just go to America soon.
Yeah.
That would be great.
I might just upgrade my phone.
Well, you know, if Kabi wins this match and he qualifies for the ESL Legendary Series, does he actually have to quit his team under the radar? Because he won't be under the radar anymore.
That's one. Well, Zixo's not under the radar either, and he's part of that practice group. So
Yeah, he needs to leave that group. I mean,
I think they'll let him stay.
he'll be slightly above the radar now. They might have to change their team name.
Yeah, they're just going to change the team name slightly above the radar. SATR.
Let the hunt begin.
All right, here we go. What could be the final match of week number 3 of the Hearthstone Legendary Series. It is going to be Kabi with that mid-range hunter, the only deck that he needs to find a win with, taking on Savjz, who's once again throwing out the Eboladin.
Yep, there we go. And this hand is at least pretty good for him. He has a pretty good opening start, and also he will have that Jeeves to back him up. Kabi, though, also has a pretty good hand. A good turn 1 play. He also follows that with Haunted Creeper, one of the best cards you can get against this type of deck.
Yeah.
And even after that, he has the Unleash the Hounds. Although I will have to say, this Freezing Trap, probably not the best against this type of Eboladin deck.
Yeah, I mean, they can just proc you with like 1 iteration of the Echoing Ooze or like a token, like a 1/1 from the Hero Power. I find this deck doesn't use Hero Power very often, though, which is kind of weird.
Yeah.
What other decks in the game don't utilize the Hero Power of the class more than this one?
Maybe Mech Mage, perhaps?
I suppose.
Mech Shaman? Probably doesn't want to use its hero power that much.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a lot of aggressive decks that...
Aggro Priest.
Oh, yeah, how could I forget about that?
How could you forget about the infamous Aggro Priest? The deck that terrorizes the ladder. maybe even like the old Miracle Warriors, or like old aggressive warriors, I suppose.
No, I'd say that's pretty scary. A 5-1 Leopard Gnome? Nim should be going crazy right now.
This was Freezing Trap?
Yes,
Okay.
it's Freezing Trap.
I remember now.
I can see now why our production keeps having to hover over
The
these
one time
minions.
they didn't check, I was confused. What are you doing, spectator? I'm sitting here just wailing for what trap it was. Whew! It's Freezing Trap.
Oh, man.
Thank God.
You don't have to be nervous anymore.
Whew. The day has been saved. Well, first Mad Scientist in the hand. This is, I think that's a pretty good card because Kabi does run one explosive trap in this deck, which could be really huge against this Paladin from Savjz. He's trying to think what's the best way to play this, and to be honest, each way feels sort of weird. I mean, there's still a Freezing Trap up, so it's not like he can attack him with the Ardent Squire and have the Leopard Gnome thrown back. And that 5 damage, he's basically effectively wasting the Blessing of Might. He used it for 3 extra damage, but it's not going to be a persistent 3 extra damage if he attacks him with
He
that.
can't even proc the Freezing Trap on this turn because if he does, the Ardent Squire will go back to his hand and Jeeves will get less value. So the Freezing Trap, I initially thought it wouldn't get a lot of value in this deck, but it certainly is right now.
Yeah. Oh, wow, they unleashed the Hounds. He's going to clear off the whole board.
Yeah, and not only that, he's going to get value from Jeeves now.
Yeah. He might have. Oh, yeah, he's going to decide to leave it up. And he draws a card.
Thanks, Jeeves.
This is already starting to look really grim for Savjz. And, I mean, I hate to call things this early, but there's a lot of damage and being represented on this board. And Kabi's hand is actually really great.
Let me get that.
And Savjz is kind of the opposite of great at this moment.
Someone just hit Legend. Who was that?
Not only is it great, but actually, Kabi will get a lot of value from Jeeves now, so he can just leave it up here. And with the Freezing Trap, this Jeeves won't be able to do any damage. So it's just a perfect combination of cards that will pretty much lock Savjz out of this game.
Yeah.
Not only that, of course, he does have the kill command in his hand.
Yeah. And he actually is going to benefit from the second trap as well. And oh, look at him. He's on his game now. That was the fastest I've ever seen a trap checked.
Ooh, explosive trap.
Yeah. Of course, explosive trap is the only other trap in his deck, as we've seen. So that time we didn't actually need it, but it's good to know that he is paying attention.
Yeah, this just might be too much damage from Kabi at this point. I mean, Savjz can truce over here, maybe play, I don't even know, a Knife Juggler. But after that, what other ways does he have to get back into this game?
I don't even know. I mean, this is just a single game. Even if he finds a miraculous way to come back in this game, he still has to win 2 more against this mid-range hunter, which has proven over the weekend for Kabi to be seemingly unstoppable.
Knife Juggler comes down, and we know what the response is going to be. Turn 7, here's Dr. Boom!
Dr. Boom! Oh, man.
I mean, if a deck can play Dr. Boom safely against you on turn 7, against a Bulletin,
While you're at 10 health?
yeah, I don't think you're going to be in a great position, and this just might be too much damage here. I don't see any way for Savjz to survive.
No, I mean, he can get, like,
Lucky, okay, even if he
perfect
gets,
juggles.
Exactly. Perfect juggles, and then he can Blessing of Might his
Knife Juggler.
Exactly.
Well, that's one good juggle.
So the problem is, if he Blessing of Might here and kills off the Dr. Boom, then the second half of Echoing Ooze won't be able to throw, like the Knife Juggler won't be able to throw a second knife here.
But the risk of hero powering here and having the Knife Juggler die.
I guess that's okay.
Yeah.
But a really low value turn for Savjz, but at least he survives.
Yep. Oh, 2. Okay, not too bad. So it's 4 damage plus kill command. That's 7 damage plus 2. That's it.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
That's it.
Kabi, come on, you can do it. Finish it off. Finish him.
Wrong game.
Okay. Look at
Wow.
that. Kabi's so happy. He takes a picture of himself.
A selfie?
Yeah.
A selfie to finish off the tournament? Kabi. They don't call him the swag lord of Argentina for nothing. And congratulations, Kabi, with a 3-0 victory over Savjz. It's a big smile crosses his face. That's like the first time in the whole tournament. He's going to be qualifying for the Legendary Series LAN Finals. He'll be flying out June 5th through 7th to participate in our LAN and for a cut of the $25,000 prize pool. What an impressive performance.
Yeah, not only that, now he joins the likes of Life Coach and Calento, and
Wow.
who wouldn't want to be part of that group?
Yeah, that's just really insane. And I mean, we have to hand it to him. He brought a really solid deck lineup. It seemed like Freeze Mage just didn't stand a chance against him so far. He had mid-range Hunter to counter, and he had Warrior, Control Warrior to counter, a really heavy, greedy Control Warrior. And even his Ramp Druid, actually, we didn't even see it. He just dodged the Freeze Mage matchup with his Ramp Druid throughout the weekend, I think. So it was just really well played by him. And I'm happy for him. I talked to him quite a bit this week, and he seemed really excited. He seemed really positive. He was giving big shout-outs to the players that were helping him prep for it. And it was kind of nice seeing it. He said, well, it's hard for me to make it big. He said the internet infrastructure isn't that great here in Argentina. So between that and work, I don't really have an opportunity to stream. So the only way for me to make a name for myself is if I win big in a tournament, and he finally did.
Yeah, I'm really happy for him, but unfortunately, Savjz is out. He isn't going to the ESL Legendary Series Finals, at least for now.
Mm-hmm.
But he actually does have another chance in the Redemption Tournament.
2 more chances, actually. Yeah. But the first one is being that Redemption Tournament. So we'll take a second to talk to you guys about that one last time. So Savjz and all of the other players who did not win a week of the Legendary Series, so that's 7 players each week for a total of 28, will be separated into 4 separate 7-player brackets. And between May 14th and 17th, those 28 players will duke it out. And the winner of each bracket will also make it to the Season 2 LAN Final. So we have 4 players from the Legendary Series match weeks. We have 4 players from the Redemption Tournament, and then we have 8 players from the Last Chance Qualifier. Why don't you give these lovely viewers just one last look at the Last Chance Qualifier and how they can compete in that?
Yeah, the Last Chance Qualifier will be happening open to everyone on May 2nd and May 3rd. That's actually going to be the last Challenger Tournament.
Yeah.
But the Last Chance Open will be happening, like we can see here, sign up for Challenger Cup number 4 at the website below, esl.gg/legendary series. After that, we'll have the Redemption Tournament, which will actually be everyone who failed to qualify during our Legendary Series Cups.
Yeah.
After that, we'll have the Legendary Series Open, the Last Chance Open, which will be open to all North American players, and there will actually be 8 spots for that will be able to go into our LAN Finals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 12 of those spots are basically completely open up to qualification. So the spots are limited, so make sure you head up that link. I think esl.gg/legendary series or legendaryseries.com will direct you to that screen. Limited spots available, so first come, first serve. Make sure you head up that information because that will be your last chance if you are outside of North America. But I do think we do have an interview ready with our winner of week number 3, Kabi. We'll see if we can bring that up.
Hello.
Hey, Kabi, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hey, first off, a big congratulations. Of course, we have to ask the question, how are you feeling right now?
All giggly. I'm surprised I was able to win. I'm a bit like all giggly because I'm super excited. Like I couldn't control myself at the end. Like when I saw myself winning the last game, I just started laughing just from joy.
Now, we were all really praising your lineup throughout the entire broadcast. We were kind of speculating that you might have been trying to counter Freeze Mage. What was your decision process like bringing the decks that you brought? Control Warrior, Mid-Range Hunter, and kind of a more Wally Rampy Druid.
Yeah, okay, so you shouldn't give me credit for that as much because I have a great practice group under the radar. They are awesome, they helped me a lot. Asusu was here week 1. Fontab wins a few tournaments, Fake is an in the team. So like, I started making a lineup and they just kept helping me, and Fontab is a champion. He stood with me every night, practicing every matchup, polishing every deck. I couldn't have made it without him. Yeah, I'm really thankful.
So was your strategy more to counter a specific deck, or to bring three
Yeah,
decks that all around were really good?
They were really good all around. I was hoping to have decks that perform okay versus Su and that zone out Freeze Mage, because not only Freeze Mage is a really popular deck right now, especially because it beats Su, it's also something that I saw many players in the current tournament play. So it was my first pick on what to counter, and then like just solid decks all around. I threw a Sand there so I could like not to be able to not run combo on the Druid. I needed a Sand to be able to beat Freeze Mage. So like it was a week long polishing the decks.
Well, it seemed to work out for you. And I have one last big question for you. Have you ever been to California?
I have never been to the USA. I have never even. I left my country, but like to Brazil. That's as far as I have gone.
Alrighty. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing you in June for the Legendary Series LAN Finals. And do you want to give any shout-outs to any of your fans or any last players besides your practice group there?
I mean, I want to give a million shoutouts to my practice group because they are awesome. I want to give a shout out to my friends, my family, everyone that helped me and support me and cherish me and cheer me on. It's just, I don't have plans because I'm not a streamer. I don't do anything like that. I just play on the shadows.
Well, once again, a big congratulations, and both Monk and I and everybody here at ESL look forward to meeting you and seeing you play at the Legendary Series LAN Final. So congratulations, and good luck, Kabi. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow. Kabi.
Yeah.
Kabi, he actually couldn't contain his emotions right there. It really
intense.
Yeah. It really warms my heart to see a kid like that. He's never been outside of Argentina except for Brazil.
Yeah.
He's never been to America before, and it's opportunities like ESL Legendary Series and Hearthstone all together, coming together to bring him these opportunities to come to California to play a game that he loves and that he practices at every single day. So dreams can really come true.
Yeah, and of course none of this will be possible. We wouldn't be able to bring Kabi and all the players who will be qualifying for the Legendary Series LAN Finals out to California without our wonderful sponsors, Plantronics and Gigabyte. If you'd like to support the Legendary Series, if you like what we're doing here, make sure you hit up those links down below and pick up some of the gear from those guys. They also provide us with fantastic commercials that you guys saw throughout the day. Those always keep me entertained, and yeah, big shout out to those guys.
Yeah, and finally, for the last time, we have to remind you guys, if you guys want to talk about ESL Legendary Series, if you want to converse with us, you can tweet us at ESL Hearthstone or by using the hashtag HLS Hearthstone Legendary Series.
Indeed. And of course, since we're done with the broadcast, we'll be hopping in those conversations on Twitter as well. But I think that's going to do it. Monk, do you have any final thoughts about the games that we saw over this weekend or Kabi's performance?
Yeah, I think all the games today, or all the games over the weekend, were really great. I have to really appreciate Kabi's lineup, Kabi's decision-making, Kabi's everything, and especially his practice group. I guess we do have to give a shout-out to his practice group, under the radar, filled with really cool players like Phone Tap, like Fake, right?
Yeah, definitely solid minds. One last reminder before we head off. We will return in 2 weeks with the Legendary Series week number 4. And the last chance to qualify for the Legendary Series LAN Finals would be for the Challenger Cup next week. So, of course, head over to esl.gg/Legendary Series or legendaryseries.com. I believe redirects you there and sign up for the Challenger Cup to have your chance to compete and make it to that LAN Finals. But once again, we will return in 2 weeks. From all of us here at ESL, from myself, from Monk, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.